for the following reasons, and he laughed. Right now, I'm very concerned. Women do not want to vote for you. Hispanics, majority of them do not want to vote for you. College students don't. After talking to them and explaining and rationalizing on a one-on-one basis, we are able to change their opinions. But on a mass level, what do you want us to do, this group here, as your emissaries, going out to convert these individuals to someone who's obviously going to be such an incredible asset to this country? We want you. But
Well,
what do we do? Just tell us how we can help.
I have some good news for you. It's not impossible. And the reason I say that is, for instance, the New York Times had a poll last week, New York Times and NBC, and I was leading by 2 points among women. All right, now the president came out and said this is an outrageous poll, they don't know what they're doing, but by the way, the polls at this stage make no difference at all. But the point is, women are open to supporting me, they like the president personally, but they're disappointed. They're disappointed with the jobs they're seeing for their kids, they're disappointed with their own economic standing right now. So we can capture women's vote. We're having a much harder time with Hispanic voters. And if the Hispanic voting bloc becomes as committed to the Democrats as the African American voting bloc has in the past, why we're in trouble as a party and I think as a nation.
Rubio.
Exactly.
And
Hey, come on.
and so we have some great Hispanic leaders in our party that will help communicate what our party stands for. And frankly, what I need you to do is to raise millions of dollars, because the president is going to have about $800 or $900 million. That's by far the most important thing you can do. Because you don't have the capacity to speak to hundreds of thousands of people. I will be in those debates. There will be, I don't know, 150 million Americans watching. If I do well, it'll help. If I don't, it won't help.
You will do so well. Your debates are incredible.
Thank you. But advertising makes a difference, and the president will engage in a personal character assassination campaign, and so we'll have to fire back, one in defense and number two in offense, and that'll take money. By the way, you'll see the ads here. Florida will be one of those states that is the key state, and so all the money will get spent in 10 states, and this is one of them. So the best thing I could ask you to do, I mean, yeah, sure, talk to people and tell them how you know me, and word of mouth makes a big difference. But you know, I'm not terribly well known by the general American public because we go out through.
As a rich boy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's saying he's a rich man.
But don't worry, given all those negative things, the fact that I'm either tied or close to the president, and the fact that, you know, that he's out there talking about the one-year anniversary of Osama bin Laden being captured, unemployment coming down, unleashing his campaign, new campaign, and we're still sort of tied, that's very interesting and is encouraging. Please.
I would disagree with that. I think a lot of young children coming out of college feel they were let down by the president. They feel that there's not a job out there for them, and I thought they were going to make $60,000, now they're making $30,000. You know, very similar to the U6.
Yeah.
My question here is, why don't you stick up for yourself? To me, you should be so proud of your wealth. That's what we all aspire to. We kill ourselves. We don't work 9 to 5. We're away from our families 5 days a week. I'm away from my 4 girls 5 days a week from my wife. Why not stick up for yourself and say, why is it bad to aspire to be wealthy and successful? You know, why is it bad to kill yourself, and why is it bad to cut 30 jobs to protect 300? And when people talk about you cutting jobs, you saved companies that were failing in terms of these 2 jobs. So my question is, when is that?
Well,
Huge neighborhood, and worked his way up from nothing to being an incredibly successful entrepreneur. So,
you heard in my speech tonight, I began by you weren't here.
He came here early, so we missed the,
You missed it. In every stump speech I give, I speak about the fact that people who dream and achieve enormous success do not make us poorer, they make us better off. And the Republican audience that I typically speak to applauds. I said that tonight, and the media's there, and they write about it. They say that Romney defends success in America and dreamers and so forth. So they write about it. But in terms of what gets through to the American consciousness, I have very little influence on that at this stage as to what they write about. And that will happen. We'll have 3 debates. We'll have a chance to talk about that in the debates. There will be ads which attack me. I will fire back in a way that describes in the best way we can the fact that the theme of my speech is that I wind up, and the ambassadors heard me today several times, I wind up talking about how the thing which I find most disappointing in this president is his attack of one American against another American, the division of America based on going after those who have been successful. And then I quote Marco Rubio. I tell, in my speeches, I say, Marco Rubio, I can't remember that I said that I don't know that I said that at the fundraising event earlier today, but I did when I was in where? Jacksonville. Exactly. I just said, Senator Rubio says that when he grew up here, poor, that they looked at people that had a lot of wealth, and his parents never once said, we need some of what they have. They should give us some. Instead, they said, if we work hard and go to school, someday we might be able to have that. And I will continue to do that. How much of that gets picked up? There's so many things that don't get picked up in a campaign because people aren't watching yet. By the way, most people don't watch during the summer. We're going to go into a season here starting from mid-June where almost there's no attention paid. Then after Labor Day, in September and October, that's when it'll get the fun.
For the last 3 years, all everybody's been told is, don't worry, we'll take care of it. How are you going to do it in 2 months before the elections to convince everybody you got to take care of yourself?
Well, there are 47% of the people who will vote for the president no matter what. All right, there are 47% who are with him, who are dependent upon government, who believe that they are victims, who believe that government has a responsibility to care for them, who believe that they're entitled to health care, to food, to housing, to you name it. But it's an entitlement, and the government should give it to them. And they will vote for this president no matter what. And I mean, the president starts off with 48, 49, 40, he starts off with a huge number. These are people who pay no income tax. 47% of Americans pay no income tax. So our message of low taxes doesn't connect. And he'll be out there talking about tax cuts for the rich. I mean, that's what they sell every 4 years. And so my job is not to worry about those people. I'll never convince them that they should take personal responsibility and care for their lives. What I have to do is convince the 5 to 10% in the Senate that are independent, that are thoughtful, that look at voting one way or the other, depending upon, in some cases, emotion, whether they like the guy or not, what it looks like. I mean, when you ask those people, I mean, we do all these polls, I find about twice as much as China, not 10 times as much, like is reported. And we have responsibility for the whole world. They're only focused on one little area of the world, the South China Sea and East China Sea, that's it. And they're building a military at a rapid rate. So this idea that somehow we spend so much money in the military, it's like, guys, don't overthink how strong we are. And we used to, you probably know, this was a couple of years ago, we had one of our aircraft carriers sailing by Japan, and the Chinese pulled up behind it in a diesel sub, a super quiet diesel sub, pulled up behind it. They could have torpedoed it. And I mean, we're not that kind of. Our Navy's smaller in number of ships than any time since 1917, and this president wants to shrink it. The list goes on. Our Air Force is older and smaller than any time since 47 when the Air Force was formed, and he wants to shrink it. If we go the way of Europe, which is spending 1 to 2% of their economy on the military, we will not be able to have freedom in the world.
When the electric comes in September, the markets are going to be looking at marginal tax rates going up, another debt ceiling fight.
Yeah.
The sequestration under the debt ceiling deal.
What do they call it? Tax again?
Yeah.
What do they call it? Yeah.
The Obamacare taxes on